Now, I only say this because I went to the gym once with someone who thought it was fine to drink alcohol. I'm not talking about getting wasted, but again, maybe you have your big meal, your pre-workout meal, and you decide, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of alcohol. Now, you're going to be a little bit tipsy, which is dangerous in the gym. I mean, look at my flipping hand. That happened in a gym, if you can see it. I broke my 2 fingers, and I wasn't even intending to do that, and I was sober, as sober could be. So I'm into the board a-hole here, and I think the number one thing most people who watch this channel are going to be doing is working out, is lifting weights, is going to the fitness palace of love. And this means you need a routine, you need a plan before you actually get in the place. So hopefully today I'm going to help by giving you some no-nos and some don'ts do that when it comes to going to the gym. Because yes, there are certain things that you never want to do before a workout, and I have hunted down 7 of them, and I'm going to give them to you right now. Number 7 is run into a wall.
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so ready to go to the gym. Let's go.
Well, it stands to reason, right? You are now raising your eyebrow going, well, that was stupid. But you shouldn't run into a wall before you go to the gym. You may hurt yourself, and then you'll have to go to the hospital, which means when you weigh up how successful your gym session was, the answer will be, well, it pretty much sucked. Number 6 is stretching as we get serious. This is one of those things that you hear about all the time, but there's some kind of old Mother Hubbard lesson that says that before you lift weights, you should do some stretching. And this comes in the form of static stretching, when you hold a stretch. This is not a stretch, but I don't have much room here. And you hold it for 30 seconds, otherwise the stretch doesn't do much. And everybody used to say you should do this before you work out, otherwise your muscles are going to explode, and then you're going to be dead and you're not going to be able to do anything. However, what you actually want to be doing is you want to be taking this static stretching and doing it after working out, because there's a bunch of new studies that have been used with new material, new information, new details that say, no, don't stretch before you work out. That's actually bad for your muscles and can actually lead to injury. Now, if you're someone that feels desperately like you do need to do some stretching, you want to do dynamic stretching, which is where you don't just hold it statically, basically, right? You give it a little bit of a bounce, or, I mean, there's a bunch of things that you can incorporate. Most people know the difference between dynamic and static stretching. It basically just means don't move stretching and moving stretching. If you do the moving stretching, like when you kind of extend your legs and bounce on your quads, that's going to be okay, but do not do the static stuff until you are done, and then 100% try to work it into your routine, because it's going to give you longevity, and it's going to protect your health, and it's going to protect your muscles, and it's going to prime you for recovery. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't warm up. I'm not saying that, 10 minutes on a cross trainer, a treadmill, or whatever you want to do, just jump around the place to make sure you get your heart going and your blood pumping. That is pretty much essential, but otherwise you can just run in there and go nuts. Number 5 is eating a massive meal. Now, when I say eating a massive meal, I don't mean you shouldn't be eating before you're working out, but you absolutely want to give your body some time to digest it, because otherwise you're just going to send signals to your brain when it doesn't know what the hell is going on. Because how many times have you had a massive meal, and afterwards you're so tired, you're so sluggish, like, oh my gosh, I've got nothing in me anymore, just want to go to bed and sleep, and then after a few hours after that you feel okay again. It's because your body is diverting all of its energy to digesting this food, because you've just plumped a load of it deep down in your stomach. So if you do eat all of that and then go to the gym and you're also sending signals to your brain, oh man, brain, now we need energy, your body is like, what the flub are you doing to me, you absolute piece of trash? Do you want energy to digest, or do you want energy to work out? I don't know what's going on, and it's probably just going to switch off, and you'll stand there like this as if you're some kind of puppet. Your body only has so much energy to go around, right? It only has so much energy to go around, and also you're probably going to feel a bit sick as well. That's the truth of it. If you're trying to work out and you've got 2,000 calories sitting in your belly, you're probably not going to get to the point when you want to throw a weight over your head. So, most people say eat an hour before going to the gym. You don't always have to do that. And you could probably eat 10 minutes before going to the gym if you're just going to have a light snack. Just don't overload it, because you think you have to take in all these calories that you then think you need to use to hit the gym. I mean, that is a good science, but just give it a bit of time. Number 4 is cardio before weights. I mean, I'll keep this one brief because it comes up all of the time. But again, if you're going to the gym to lift weights, and your goal is to lift weights and do progressive overload and lift heavier and heavier and do more and more sets and so on and so forth, why the hell would you use all your energy doing cardio? Doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, if you go to the gym and you have to put them back to back and you decide cardio is more important, then sure, do it first. But what I would suggest that most people do, if you do need to do it back to back, is do the weights and then do the cardio for the reasons we just talked about. It's just called prioritizing. Like, if I love Gerald the Fitness Mascot more than Stanley the Gaines Giraffe, which I don't, the love is completely equal. But when it comes to giving presents, he's going to get more and he's going to get less. As it turns out, they get, like I say, exactly the same, because where would I be without these two? Nowhere. In the gutter. Number 3 is don't drink alcohol. Now, I only say this because I went to the gym once with someone who thought it was fine to drink alcohol. I'm not talking about getting wasted, but again, maybe you have your big meal, your pre-workout meal, and you decide, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of alcohol. Now, you're going to be a little bit tipsy, which is dangerous in the gym. I mean, look at my flipping hand. That happened in a gym, if you can see it. I broke my 2 fingers, and I wasn't even intending to do that, and I was sober, as sober can be. But also, this comes down to sleepiness and energy once more. Because your body goes into overdrive when you put alcohol in you, because, in a really basic way, it's a poison, or it's a foreign substance, and your physique and body needs to know what to do with it. So you're going to confuse it once more, which is not what you want to do. You want to go into the gym, you want to be super focused and super centered on what you're there to do. And what a lot of people do, actually, is they'll go out on a Friday night and have some drinks with the boys in the bar, and then they all go work out together. And I know this because I've seen them in the gym. One particular chain just lets them in and run wild, but I won't name them because that doesn't seem fair. But in terms of talking about making sure that you are 100% optimum during your fitness sessions, you just don't want anything in your system. Like if you've had some beers over lunch or something and you're training the evening, that's probably going to be okay because you've left a huge chunk of time. But if you are going to eat, just try and drink some water and then go smash it. Number 3 is don't drink too much caffeine. Now, I understand this is very specific to me, but after I've done caffeine videos in the past, it is just an absolute delight when other people get in touch with me and go, "Oh, Miller, I gave it up too, and all these problems I was having fluttered away." So I'm going to keep throwing them in here. You already know how tolerant or intolerant you are to caffeine. But 2 things can happen. The first of which is if you do take in too much caffeine, it will make you go to the toilet and it will make you crap out your life. I don't mean to lower the tone, but we may as well talk as honestly and transparently as we can. That is a side effect of caffeine. And sometimes people jump on pre-workout. Not only do they take too much, they take more than it says on the back of the box. Then they find themselves in the toilet just crapping away. This is the last thing you want at the gym. But also, in very rare occasions, all the time with me, because my body absolutely sucks, is that you can crash your adrenal gland, which is the complete opposite of what you want to do. You want to spark that thing up, meaning you feel more lethargic even though you've taken in some coffee and caffeine, because basically it means you've taken so much, your body now relies on it for energy, meaning if you don't give it enough, it can't generate its own, and you absolutely are, well, you're in trouble. And I know that because I've been here, and again, I want to stress that's very, very rare before everybody starts going nuts, but it has happened to me multiple times. So if you are feeling a little bit lethargic in the gym, you may just have pushed that too far. It's at least something to think about. And number 1 is don't take pain relief. Now, I completely understand why people do this. I've done it in the past as well. You think, well, I've got a little niggle in my elbow, but I want to go and train. If I, take a couple of Nurofen, a couple of paracetamol or whatever, I can just pretend it's not there. I could just work out as much as I want. But that's dumb, right? You want to know where the pain is. There's nothing wrong with training around injuries, right? That's absolutely fine. But you want to know where the pain is. Because if you don't know where the pain is, you don't know what you can and can't get away with. So all you're going to do is make the injury worse. And there's nothing worse than getting injured in the gym. Because straight away, well, I'm not going to be able to train how I want to train. And you cry, and you eat a bunch of cereal, and you get fat, and you think, I'm just going to sort this stuff out. But you need to know where that pain is so you can work around it. Painkillers are not a great option. If you need to take painkillers after the gym to get rid of some inflammation, or because it's just too much, go to the doctor because you need help with your health and fitness. Of course, that's what they're there for. But there's no point masking it. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse, and then maybe eventually it gets so bad you have to have surgery or something, and then you're out for months, whereas if you just tackled the problem at the start, you would have been out for weeks. But I do understand it. Sometimes I've done it, and it's a really, really stupid thing to do. So just don't take pain medication before you go to the gym, and listen to your body. That old adage. And that's it. 7 things you should never do before going to the gym. I personally think running into the wall was the most important one, because it's one you'll never be able to get away with. The rest you probably could. Now, please do like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the bell, ding, ding. Then you'll be notified about other videos. Another video right there. Please do give it a click. Instagram, Patreon, merchandise, and Twitter, all in the description below. Mostly Simon Miller 316 or 316. But otherwise, I appreciate